Gabriel tried to keep his attention focused on Risoti, as the last call for her shuttle came through. She was holding on to Pista, who was just as sad to see her go as when Erila left. "I'll send you messages just like Erila does, okay?" Risoti said, as Nish pulled her daughter away. "Have to go. Bye," she added, taking her carry-on and running towards the gate. She would look back every once in a while, and Gabriel would wave while Pista and Nish raised their antenna. When she was gone, Gabriel began to dredge up the carriage to bring up what he had done. "Nish, about yesterday night," Gabriel said. "It's fine. I was just taken aback for a moment. I realized that for a human it meant nothing," Nish replied. Gabriel had not been the only one who had done some research last night. "Yeah, but to a Dwavander it did, and that is a problem," Gabriel countered. "It was hardly a problem," Nish replied, and immediately realized what she just said. What I'm trying to... Just a bit of cross-culture mistake," Gabriel replied, cobbling a poorly constructed and vaguely relevant sentence together. Nish would not ignore an out when it presented itself, and she took it. "Right," Nish said. Off in the distance, Gabriel saw Risoti's shuttle taking off, and he was grateful for the distraction. "And then they were free," he said. They had decided to have a lazy day after Risoti left, and Gabriel was back in the Excelsior suite, enjoying a cup of tea. Looking out at the city, watching vehicles and people move about like ants, Gabriel found himself thinking about how Nish had responded. "I'm reading too much into it. I'm anthropomorphizing her. Erila had no idea what she was talking about," Gabriel told himself, pacing back and forth. Nish had explained how she felt no romantic attraction. She had been in a brief sexual relationship, and the only thing she was bothered with was that the man had never shown up for Pista's school plays. "Why do I even care? Why am I blathering on about this? To no one, I might add," he asked himself, stepping away from the window. Nish was lovely to be around. She was fascinating to talk to, passionate about her field of study, and truly loved her child, all things Gabriel respected and admired. She was pretty freaky looking too. She was gangly, skeletal really. When she closed her mouth, her face looked like a blank mask, no nose or visible ears, and even her lips vanished. She had no curves either. She was utterly unattractive by human standards. Then why the hell can't I get her out of my head? He asked himself. It was then that Erila's little statement on the boat came flooding back, and he dropped his drink, spilling liquid on the floor. "Oh, fuck," Gabriel groaned. Gabriel might have continued his self-pity and denial party all night, had there not been a knock on his door. An unusual occurrence in and of itself, but Gabriel was too desperate for a distraction to care. Gabriel quickly went to his door and checked the camera. A young alien. Gabriel was not sure which species, but they looked like a mix of wolf and pig. They had 9 limbs and lacked a tail. "Hello," Gabriel said through the speaker. "Hello, I have a package from Mr. Rattlew," the courier explained, holding the box a little too close to the camera. Gabriel was confused for a moment, as he had not ordered anything. Then he recalled Erila's letter. She had mentioned she was sending him a gift. "Yes, I'll open the first door and you can leave the parcel there, and I'll collect it later," Gabriel explained, opening the door. "I need a signature," the postal worker explained, holding up their PDA. "Of course you do," Gabriel mumbled. "That will take some time. I need to get in my suit and go through the decontamination process." Gabriel put on his suit, grumbling all the while. One thing he would never be ungrateful for again was how simple it was to get a package back on Earth. Assuming, of course, that those little shits did not steal it from his doorstep. Again. 10 dull minutes later, he had signed for the package and brought it inside. Erila had put in the effort. It was wrapped in colourful paper and even had a little bow. Gabriel removed the wrapping, taking great care not to tear anything. The box contained 3 smaller packages. One was a tin of savoury biscuits. Gabriel knew them. They were Apollo. Erila had eaten them regularly while on Menegrad. However, she had often said that they paled to the ones at Bosd. The second gift was a framed picture of all 5 of them outside the Habib Museum, taken just 3 short weeks ago. Gabriel looked at the photo and smiled. Erila had mentioned wanting to frame it. It was a good picture, after all. You'd almost think it had been done by a professional. Gabriel would need to think of a way to one-up her. The final gift was odd. It was a small wooden figure that looked vaguely like Gabriel. However, it was abstract enough that it took a few moments for him to realize. Gabriel supposed this was a delicate design choice and not due to a lack of skill. The statuette had many fine details carved into it. Judging from the patterns, they looked like letters. Metal inlays were embedded around the lips, fingers, limbs and eyes, and there were 2 tiny gemstones with pupils. It looked expensive. Gabriel was grateful for the gift, but he had no idea what it was. Gabriel had not mentioned she was into wood carving. Hoping there would be some explanation, Gabriel rummaged through the package, and he found a small note. Gabriel, this is Volso, a cultural artifact of my people. It's shaped after its owner, and the words inscribed into it are supposed to help a person overcome challenges. I don't know if it'll actually work, but who knows? By the way, it is very expensive, so don't lose it. Erla. Even 150 light years away, you just can't stop sticking your nose in, Gabriel said with a chuckle. With the full extent of Erla's generosity known, Gabriel pulled out a sheet of sturdy bordered paper and sat down to write an actual letter, the first he had ever written in his life. He was actually excited, if he was being honest. He would go out looking for gifts later, but now it was the time to channel his inner Ponce and write the most pretentious letter he possibly could. Dearest Erla Hanha Iho, words cannot describe how much I enjoyed your message. I am indeed well, and your letter found me at a most opportune moment, as I found myself in another situation, and your kind and familiar words helped raise my spirits, washing away the stress and fatigue of the day. Your gifts were also a ray of sunshine on a drab day, as Risoti had departed just scant hours before, leaving my humours melancholic. Yeah, she'll have to research that one. It'll drive her nuts, Gabriel chuckled. Doubtless, this news gives you joy rather than grief, as the day you will be reunited with your beloved draws ever nearer. As to your inquiry into my relationship with Nish, I would like to reiterate that it is none of your sodding business, and I kindly request that you keep your large, scaly snout out of my affairs. On a more positive note, I have not forgotten what you told me. On the contrary, I have given it serious consideration, and I hope I can act on it before it is too late. It is such a shame that you left our merry band when you did, as we have witnessed many more wonders of this world. No doubt Risoti will tell you all about it, and I hope you look forward to it. Tomorrow we will be travelling to the Great Black Cliffs of Mespit. Nish and Pista are most keen to see it. They say it reminds them of a similar feature on Yersu. I would also like to thank you for the florso you sent. It is lovely, and I also hope it will provide me with the help I need. I want to finish the letter by reminding you that my love for you is so great that no distance or time could ever damage it. Your constant and most affectionate friend, Gabriel Radlew. Gabriel sat back and admired his work. It looked like someone from the 18th century could have written it. It was perfect.